Hello. The Divine Code reading for December 28th, pages 407 and 408. We are in the chapter Laws of a Pursuer and Self-Defense. Topic number 3. It is not permissible to save someone by killing his pursuer unless this is the only way to save the victim. If it is possible for one to save the victim without killing the pursuer, for example, by appeasing him or confusing him with words, or by wounding him, cutting off his hand or foot, and instead he killed the pursuer, considered murder with liability to capital punishment. Rambam Laws of Kings 9:4. So, person is pursuing another person. Obligation is to help that person. We are allowed to do whatever up to the point that it's necessary to help the victim, to stop the pursuer. So whatever that's necessary is, anything beyond what is necessary would be considered not permitted by this. Just because someone is pursuing another person with the intent to kill that person, or the attempt to harm the person in a serious manner, does not give us permission to kill the pursuer, unless that's the only way we can prevent the harm to the victim. It's not a blanket permission. We only do what's necessary in the situation, and then hand the person over to the courts to decide what to do beyond that. If a person goes beyond it, and if the person kills when there's not necessary to kill, then the person that did the killing cannot use defense as an excuse. In real life situations, that the person may not have the time or the ability to calculate what's necessary, and therefore he might be able to do more than what in a rational situation would be considered necessary. That would be up to the heavenly court to decide. But where it's clear cut that the person went beyond, that's when the earthly court would deal with the person, the person that killed the pursuer. Even if the only one being chased saves himself by killing his pursuer, when he could have saved himself by injuring the pursuer's limbs, he is considered a murderer and is liable for capital punishment. So whether it's the third party that gets involved, or if it's the person being pursued that kills, in either case, it would be a murder case in a court. As a practical matter, the pursued person may be too hurried to calculate whether he can save himself by merely injuring the pursuer. However, if it is clear that this option is available, he is obligated to do so, and if he does not utilize this opportunity but rather kills the pursuer, he is judged as a murderer. Topic number 4. One who blackmails another to either do a certain action or else be killed is considered a pursuer. The victim does not need to listen to what the blackmailer wishes him to do, but is rather permitted to kill him, since it is the same as a pursuer. For example, a robber who threatens to kill him if he is not given money. So this is similar to the case earlier where a person is threatening someone, do this or that, otherwise they would kill them. In a case of something that is a capital offense if the person does it. If the person that's being blackmailed does it, if it's a capital offense, then the person being blackmailed would have the other option of killing himself in order to prevent himself from doing it. That's only if he cannot get out of the situation. But if he can get out of the situation, even up to the point of killing the person that's blackmailing him, he is permitted to do that in order to get out of the situation. And apparently, even if the pursuer is saying, give me your money, otherwise I will kill you. If the pursuer was saying that, then the victim would be allowed to defend himself, even up to the point of killing the pursuer. This only applies if the victim is being forced to do something permissible. However, if he is being forced to keep one of the Noahide commandments, since he is already obligated to keep them, killing the person who is forcing him to do so would be considered murder. See Tzitz Eleazar, Volume 9, Chapter 17, Topic 2.7. So if the person is being told, give back the money that was stolen, or do not steal the money, otherwise I'll kill you, he does not have permission to kill the pursuer, because the pursuer is telling him to do something proper. Do not rob that person, otherwise I will kill you, is not a excuse for killing the pursuer. Topic number 5. One who pursues a mortally wounded person to kill him is considered to have intended to murder, and it is permissible to kill the pursuer in order to save the mortally wounded person. It appears clear to the author that since the Gentile is liable for capital punishment if he kills a mortally wounded person, it is permitted to prevent him from doing so by deadly force if needed, just as any other case of a pursuer. So this would be a case even if the mortally wounded person is going to die anyway. So you got a mortally wounded person and someone just wants to finish him off, an act of vengeance or something. He wants to be the person that finishes him off. He's not allowed to do that. The attacker would not be allowed to do that because that would be murder. And likewise, if someone prevented him from doing that, even though he didn't actually save the person's life, he only saved the person's life for a short period of time, it's permitted to stop the person from killing a mortally wounded person. Topic number 6. One who pursues a pregnant woman intending to strike the mother in order to kill the fetus is considered in Torah law as a real pursuer, and it is permitted to save the fetus like any other pursued person. Based on topic 110, that murder of an embryo is fully murder. So if the person's intention is not to kill the mother, the person's intention is to kill the fetus. He's pursuing her because he's going to force her to have an abortion. Physically force her to have an abortion. Then it would be permitted to defend against the pursuer in this case. Topic number 7. If a woman is at risk of dying in childbirth due to her fetus, it is permitted to kill the unborn fetus. Enact dilation and extraction, DNX, commonly referred to as partial birth abortion of a fetus, would not be permitted unless it is the only way medically available to save the mother. In 1996, a select panel convened by the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecologists found no circumstances when this is the only available option for saving the mother. The document available on mrc.org. It is as possible, if it is possible to save the mother without killing the fetus, and yet the fetus was killed from the onset, it is considered a case of murder. So if theoretically, if there's a case where the mother's life needs to be protected by killing the fetus, in today's medical advances, it's not really seen as necessary. But if theoretically it was necessary, then it would be permitted to kill the fetus to save the mother's life. It is permitted to kill the fetus and remove it from her to save her life, because it is as if the fetus is pursuing her to kill her. So in the case of the fetus in the mother that is threatening the mother's life, the fetus would be considered a pursuer, halachically considered a pursuer, and therefore it would be permitted to kill the fetus. If that's the only way it's the only way possible to save the mother, it would be permitted to kill the fetus. But if the head had already emerged, in Torah law, a child has been born when its forehead, or the majority of its body, has emerged from the birth canal. Shulchan Aruch Choshen Mishpat 287 and Shulchan Aruch Yeridea 14. So that's when the child is considered born when its head or the majority of its body, if it's a breech birth, the majority of the body has been born, then it's considered born. Even if some of the body is still, even if some of the child is still inside the womb. Since it is already born, it is forbidden to harm it for one who does not have permission to choose one life over the other. And this risk in childbirth is the nature of the world. Rambam Laws of Murderers 1:9. So in the case of a difficult birth, when the child is partially born, once the point comes that the child is partially born and he's not able, it's a situation where the child is stuck somehow, and a choice is, we're not allowed to make the choice between the mother and the child at that point. That's the way that the birth, it's not our choice. Now, choices are still made. The choices are made through the natural circumstance, but it's not that a individual can make it the choice. The choice is created by the circumstance. It's not that, well, that's just the way nature is, and therefore we can't intervene. No, the situation presents itself in such a way that the choice becomes evident through the situation. That's how it works at that point. The terminology that this risk in childbirth is a nature of the world probably isn't the best worded way of saying it, but rather it's the situation inherent in the child, in the medical situation, that makes the choice for the person. We don't make the choice. The medical situation makes the choice. Would be another way of saying it. If taken, no action against the fetus would result in both the mother and the fetus dying. Then it is, or if it is clear that the child will die no matter what, or it will be stillborn. Seferet Yisrael Boaz, Tractate Ohilat, end of chapter 1. This law is comparable to the case in which murderers singled out their victim from a group and will either kill that one victim or the whole group. It is permissible to hand over the one victim, since it cannot be said that the victim's blood is more red than that of the whole group. And that was discussed earlier in chapter 2, topic 8, footnote 79 there. So if the mother's going to die anyway, or if the fetus is going to die anyway, the child is going to die anyway, then saving someone who is assumed to die anyway doesn't make any sense. Therefore, the doctor would choose that person would die and the other person would have the opportunity to live, whichever one in that case. And usually, from what I understand, it would be either one or the other that has the possibility of living, while the other one would not have such a great possibility of living. And if like in the case of the robbers who say, we're going to, give us over this particular person, otherwise we'll kill everyone. We're going to kill everyone anyway. So the halakha is to give over the one person that the robbers choose, because that one person's going to die in either scenario. So the same situation here. If the baby's going to die in either scenario, or the mother's going to die in either scenario, then that person dies, and the other person would be given the opportunity to live instead of having both people die. That's how the natural, the medical situation determines the halakha. It is permissible to save the mother's life by killing the fetus if necessary, even if most of the head or the fetus has come out. That's where if it's clear that the child is going to die anyway, or it would be stillborn. And that would be also the inverse would also be if the mother's going to die in either case and the fetus has a possibility of living, then you save the fetus. And there is a long footnote on this that'll be part of tomorrow's reading. That'll go into more detail concerning the difficulties in childbirth. Thank you.